Today, I want to talk about something that completely changes the way you think about money, the $20,000 rule. Why this number? Investment. Because $20,000 is more than just a figure in your bank account. It's a financial milestone that shifts how you live, how you make decisions, and ultimately how you view your future. Think about it. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, constantly worried about what happens if the car breaks down, if an unexpected medical bill shows up, or if they lose their job. But once you hit the 20,000 mark, suddenly you're no longer stuck in survival mode. You're not stressing over every dollar that comes in or goes out. You have stability. And stability is the foundation for everything else. Now, here's the catch. Most people, the moment they start hitting this number, immediately fall into lifestyle inflation. They start spending more because they can. But if you can hold back, if you can maintain the same simple lifestyle and let that 20,000 serve as a cushion, you'll feel something most people never experience: freedom from constant financial stress. And that freedom matters more than you think. When you know you've got 20,000 sitting there, you're not desperate anymore. You can negotiate jobs differently. You can make decisions more confidently. Investment, and you can start to play offense instead of defense with your money. That's the point where you go from just surviving to actually building. Because here's where the real power of 20 Zalozid comes in. It's leverage. It's not just about saving. It's about what you can do with that savings. That's the point where you can finally start putting money into assets that grow, stocks, real estate, side hustles that can compound over time. At that moment, your money stops being just stored energy and starts becoming a machine that quietly works for you in the background. And once you experience that shift, you'll notice something else: confidence, momentum. You realize that if you could reach a 20 Zalozin, you can reach 50 Zalozin, then 100 Zalozin. Suddenly, the whole journey to financial independence doesn't feel impossible anymore. It feels inevitable. That's why the $20,000 rule is such a game changer. It's the line between scarcity and security, between working for money and money working for you. When you first start building toward that 20,000 milestone, investment, the biggest challenge isn't just saving the money. It's resisting the urge to immediately upgrade your lifestyle. This is where most people get trapped. They see a little extra cash in their account, and suddenly the old car that still runs fine feels outdated. The small apartment that was perfectly livable last year suddenly feels too cramped. The dinners at home that used to be normal now feel boring compared to eating out a few nights a week. And just like that, the progress they've made disappears. That's why the real value of $20,000 isn't just the number. It's the discipline it represents when you don't let lifestyle inflation rob you of stability. Think of it this way. A $20 horseman is the line between constant stress and breathing room. Up until then, every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. A flat tire sets you back for weeks. A medical bill throws your budget out of balance. And even the idea of losing your job feels catastrophic. But with 20,000 set aside, you finally have a buffer. The stress that once consumed your decisions fades. Everything good investment. That money isn't just sitting in a bank account. It's buying you peace of mind. But the catch is that peace only lasts if you keep your lifestyle in check. Imagine someone who hits a 20,000 and decides to celebrate with a new car and a bigger place. Suddenly, the insurance goes up, the rent doubles, and that sense of security they worked so hard to build is gone. They've traded long-term stability for short-term gratification. On the other hand, the person who holds steady, who keeps the same car and the same apartment, gets to experience something rare. Investment, their money is finally ahead of their lifestyle. That's when wealth starts to build. That's when the money works as a foundation rather than a fleeting victory. The truth is, everything makes a good investment is about proving to yourself that you can live below your means and create stability out of discipline. Once you lock in that mindset, the number becomes more powerful than the dollars themselves. Investment. It's not just savings. It's the beginning of financial freedom. When you look at 20,000 sitting in your account, it's not just about the money. It's about the security that comes with it. Before you hit that number, every decision feels heavier. You think twice before taking a risk. You worry constantly about what could go wrong, and you hesitate on opportunities because deep down you're afraid of ending up with nothing. But when you reach that 20,000 mark, something shifts inside you. You realize you finally have a cushion. It's not just cash, it's the ability to breathe, to make decisions with confidence instead of fear. That psychological edge changes everything. Think about it. If you're working a job you don't like, but you're living paycheck to paycheck, you feel trapped. You stay because you can't afford to miss a single payday. But with $20 in saved, suddenly you have options. You could walk away and survive for a while. You could take a chance on a better job or even invest time into a side hustle without panicking about rent or groceries. That kind of freedom isn't just financial, it's mental. It gives you control over your life in a way that very few people ever experience. And here's the part that most people underestimate: the peace of mind is worth more than the money itself. Knowing you have that cushion lets you think clearly. Instead of constantly being in survival mode, you're no longer making desperate choices, you're making smart ones. Investment. You negotiate differently when you're not afraid of losing. You see opportunities that you would have ignored when you were stressed about bills. That sense of security multiplies your ability to grow because your decisions are no longer driven by fear. They're driven by strategy. So while $20 in might not make you rich, it changes the way you approach every part of your financial life. Investment, it's a foundation that allows you to stop reacting to every setback and start planning for the future. That's why the security cushion isn't just about dollars in the bank. It's about the confidence and clarity that come with finally being in control. Once you hit that to 20,000 milestone, the game changes because now your money can start working for you. Before that point, most people are stuck in a cycle of earning and spending, living from paycheck to paycheck, and never seeing real growth. Investment, but with 20,000 saved, you've crossed the threshold from merely surviving to actually leveraging your resources. That's where the power of leverage comes in. Suddenly, you're not just thinking about dollars in your account. You're thinking about opportunities to make those dollars multiply. This is where investing becomes a real possibility. Up until this point, investment, putting money into stocks, real estate, or other assets might have seemed intimidating or too risky because losing even a small amount could feel catastrophic. But when you have a cushion of 20,000, you have room to take calculated risks. You can start small, test strategies, and learn from mistakes without jeopardizing your financial foundation. X a good investment. And this is where your money starts to do something it couldn't do before. It starts generating more money. Interest, dividends, appreciation. These aren't just concepts anymore. They become real engines of growth. The beauty of this leverage is that it compounds over time. Every dollar you invest now can grow exponentially if you're patient and strategic. Investment. That's what separates people who just earn a living from those who build lasting wealth. And it's not just about choosing the right stocks or the right property. Investment. It's about the mindset of using money as a tool instead of a static number in a bank account. Once you understand that, 28,000 isn't just a milestone, it's a launch pad. And here's the subtle but crucial point: investment. Leverage doesn't only apply to investing. It also applies to how you negotiate, how you take career risks, and how you allocate your time. With that cushion in place, a good investment, you can pursue opportunities that seemed out of reach before, whether it's starting a side hustle, taking a short-term course to upgrade skills, or even leaving a job that doesn't serve you. Investment, that flexibility is a form of leverage that money alone can't buy. It's the freedom to make decisions from a position of strength. Investment, reaching 20,000 is where you stop working solely for money and start putting your money to work for you. And once that shift happens, everything else becomes easier to achieve. Hitting that 20,000 milestone doesn't just change your bank account. It changes how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Before reaching this point, it's easy to feel stuck. Like financial independence is a distant dream meant for someone else. But when you see that number in your account, something clicks. You realize that you are capable of achieving more than you thought. That confidence is contagious. It spills over into every decision you make, every opportunity you pursue, and every risk you're willing to take. Momentum starts to build in ways that aren't immediately obvious. Investment. Everything makes a good investment. It's not just about adding another $1,000 here or there. It's about the psychological proof that you can set a goal and hit it. That proof reinforces your habits, your discipline, and your mindset. Investment. You start thinking differently about spending, saving, and investing because you've experienced firsthand that delayed gratification works. That sense of accomplishment fuels future action. Once you've crossed a meaningful milestone, you're no longer operating from fear or scarcity. You're operating from possibility. This momentum also affects your decision making in tangible ways. With $20 saved, you begin to take smarter risks. You approach investments with a plan rather than anxiety. You consider career moves more strategically, knowing you have a safety net. Investment. You negotiate from a position of confidence instead of desperation. Every step you take after this milestone is amplified because your mindset has shifted. Confidence and momentum compound just like money, and the combination is powerful. The beauty of reaching 20,000 is that it proves the system works. You can set financial goals, stick to a plan, and see results. That success builds self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of bigger goals. Suddenly, 50,000 or 100,000 no longer feels unattainable. It feels like the natural next step. The first meaningful milestone is always the hardest, but it's also the one that sets the tone for everything that follows. So hitting 20,000 isn't just about the numbers. It's about proving to yourself that you can build momentum, trust your process, investment, and take control of your financial future. That momentum doesn't stop here. It's just the beginning of what's possible.